So let's start right away. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a data scientist with me as well as a data analyst. So we'll be diving into questions. I will throw questions at them. Then after which I will allow the audience also to question at them. All right, so let's start to Samson and Abba. I'm going to be asking a question, and I expect you both to answer in this order. Meaning Samson will go first, then Abba will go second, right? So I believe we're ready, right? We're ready.
Yeah, sure, I'm ready. Ready.
Awesome.
I don't know if I think it's ready. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So to start with, Samson, who is a data scientist, and to Abba, who is a data analyst. So Samson, you go first.
Yeah, thanks for that, Jose. So who is a data scientist? That's a very interesting question. There are lots of definitions on who a data scientist is. There's no one particular definition to say, okay, this is the definition of a data scientist. The definition spreads across, how different people understand data science in itself. So if you were to ask me who a data scientist is, who finds solutions to problems by analyzing either big or small data using the appropriate tools, then tells the story to communicate, the findings to different stakeholders. Now, as a data scientist, you need to have a diverse set of skills and knowledge. It's not just one particular, I've learned Python, that means I'm a data scientist. There are different skills that one needs to possess. Now, one of the skills is statistical analysis. You have to understand, Python to be able to statistics, to be able to interpret your data. You need to understand descriptive statistics. You need to understand inferential statistics. Your descriptive statistics are your mean, median, mode, range, standard deviation, variance, and for your inferential statistics, hypothesis testing, regression analysis, time series analysis, and the likes. Also, aside statistics, you also have machine learning. You need to be proficient. A data scientist needs to be proficient in applying machine learning algorithms to develop predictive models and uncover patterns in the data. Programming also, you need to know how to use programming, Python R, to be able to write efficient codes to manipulate and preprocess the data, and also implement machine learning algorithms using the appropriate, Python or R libraries and framework.
All right, Samson. I think. Sorry, I think I will stop at this point. Yeah, I mean, you've taken us farther than what I was expecting. All right, so let's hear from Mark, who a data analyst is. Right.
Thank you, Chigozie. I think Samson has said it all about. So basically, to simplify it, right? So a data analyst is a person whose job is to gather and interpret data in order to solve a specific problem. I think it's more of soft skills than hard skills. So, the difference between a data scientist and data scientists have to be grounded in statistics and advanced tools and techniques. But a data analyst will have more of the soft skills, communication, reporting, stakeholder management, and soft skills like that. So the goal is to observe your data, interpret data to solve problems, and make recommendations. So that's it from my end. Thank you.
Yeah, while you're on that, thanks for that. I like that. While you're on that, can you tell us what interests you about data analysis and why you chose to become a data analyst?
All right. Thank you. So I think when I was transitioning into data, it's more of like this quote. Someone said, we come with our natural way of thinking, right? Some people naturally go towards software engineering. Some people naturally tilt towards different things. For me, my primary way of thinking is analytics. I'm an analytical minded person, so that made me to take that decision. Secondly, try to understand the cause-effect relationship in everything I do. So I try to dig deeper to understand relationship between two happenings, to understand the actual cause and understand why they are happening, to definitely communicate. So I think primarily just the thinking process, the thinking abilities behind it, and then try to understand cause-effect relationships between in the data. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Awesome. Nice. So, Samson, to you, why did you decide to become a data scientist? Or what made you to switch towards data scientist? Thank you.
Well, for me, data science, I'm a technical person. My background is well rooted in engineering. So when I decided to transition to data science, I realized that there are a lot of transferable skills from my previous role that also there now. When I was trying to learn data science, there were several factors that made me choose data, and one of them being that the data space is an evolving field where there are lots and lots of advancements, and there are just so many applications that one can do with data, the insights that one can derive with data. The popular saying when you say data is in oil, right? There's just the when it comes to data, what you can do with data, there's no max. The sky is basically the starting point with data, and it's just very interesting the fact that you can use data to do and do so many interesting stuff. So that's why I decided to transition to data science.
Thanks. That's quite catchy. So, what would you advise a newbie or someone who wants to come into the world of data, especially someone who does not have an engineering background, right, but would like to transition into data science field to be able to use data to solve problems? What we advise such kind of person?
For me, I always tell people you don't need to have a technical background. Let's say I come from an engineering background to do data science or data analytics or machine learning. You don't need that. What you need, I think the most important set of skills you need if you want to go into this field is the ability to have an inquisitive mindset. You need to be curious. You need to have problem solving skills. There are situations whereby you would get into some difficult situations. You need to know how to keep on persevering and keep pushing until you arrive at a solution. Because generally, data science is, every tech role has its, some people say it's easy, some people say it's hard. What keeps people going is that interest in wanting to learn it. It is that interest that will keep you going. For me, yeah.
Pick from what you said. That keeps you going. Then the person also needs to have an inquisitive mindset, and that's correct. That's absolutely correct. So, Abba, right? What we advise someone who is non-technical, a newbie, who wants to cross to the world of data, especially becoming a data analyst. What we advise such kind of person?
All right. Thank you, Chigozie. Thank you so much. So, first and foremost, like I said earlier, assess your skills and abilities and a lot of realities around you. It's overwhelming, right? Data scientist, data engineering, data analyst. We have software. You want to move over to other areas. So assess your skills and your interest first, right? Take some psychometric tests to understand how you think or what career. If you have all the money, which is one question. If you have all the money, which of the skills will you go for? That's one. Then I'm going to learn all these things. You don't have to learn all these things. Look at the industry standards. We have Power BI, which is an industry standard for data visualization, right? We have open source DBs, databases you can access to play around with your data, right? So if you pick 2 or 3 tools, right? SQL, which is fundamental. You don't have to jump into Python. Start with SQL, start with Power BI or Excel, and then play around, understand how these tools work, right? And then finally seek to understand. There's always a business around data. There's always an understanding, even if you are given data about a healthcare system, right? You still need to understand on a basic level how the health system works. So that's crucial for you to making sense from that data. So assess your skills and abilities and the realities around you. Pick the universal tools around this space into fintech of banking, understand the transaction and the banking world. If you want to go into healthcare, understand how the health system works. So that can help you to tailor your recommendations and understand what you are dealing with. So yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. I like the way you put it. I mean, practically you are saying that if the newbie is coming into the world of data analyst, it's important that the person understands the domain where he or she finds.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, that's very important so that the interpretation of the data will be towards that domain, right? Because, I mean, if you give wrong interpretation, I mean, you pass the wrong message and people will no longer trust your judgment. All right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so there's this thing I've observed, right? A lot of people talk about what's it called? A lot of people talk about coming to data. Could it be the way the hype was pushed, right? And this is to Samson. Could it be the way the hype was pushed, right? And that made a lot of people to like when they come into the space of data science, they find themselves wanting to say, let them finish studying statistics, linear regression, before they start making anything meaningful, right, from data. Well, what do you have to say about this?
Well, as it is with most tech skills generally, like there's always that hype, and a lot of people fall for the hype without, having a proper understanding of what the field entails and if it's, something they might be interested in pursuing. Because generally, as it is with everything, as it is with every skills generally, there are lots of, there are positives and negatives. There are situations where, you get stuck. And how do you come out of, those situations where you get stuck? It's by, persevering. So, yeah.
All right. So thanks for that. I have Taufik here saying that I love your advice about knowing the needed tools in the industry. And I believe this came as a result of what Abba said. And based on this, Abba, I would like to ask, so for a data analyst, just mention like a couple of tools that a data analyst, or tools that you use today for, right? Go ahead with that, please.
Okay, thank you so much. So primarily, I think more of the whole data game is all about it's more of soft skill, mental abilities, because for you to use a tool effectively, you have to understand the logic, the principle behind that tool. So SQL is very key. You have to interact with databases, right? So structured query language is fundamental to relating with databases. That's very key. And then you need to understand. So the question is, what are databases and what are stored in a database? So these are things you need to figure out. That's one. Then two, right? You need to understand Power BI, data visualization, right? So what's the logic? Back there you have to bar graph, your graphs, your charts, your histograms and stuff like that. Now, what's the principle around Power BI data visualization? You have to, once you interact with the database, you have to visualize to aggregate your data to make sense, right? Dashboard in form of dashboards. So and then to show relationship between the columns or the variables of your data. So SQL, very important. Power BI, very important. On a basic level too, you have Excel. Excel is like the mother of all tools, right? It's all like we're even in a session today and we're talking about Excel. Excel is not going anytime soon. But I do you understand how Excel operates, that can give you the backbone of the other advanced tools you'll be working with. Then interpretation, very important, right? Interpreting your data is very important. Observing, interpreting, these are very key. Making sense of your data. So, like I said earlier, if you understand the business around or the logic around your data or the system around your data, your ability to interpret, to make sense out of it, to communicate, to communicating through storytelling or persuasive communication to your stakeholders or business leaders is very important, right? It's very important. And then you have to also engage stakeholders, right? Let's say, for example, I'm working on a project for Samson, and Samson is the primary person involved. I have to find the best way to engage with him that will get the best out of this project. So if you have these 4 skills or 4 to 5 skills, to SQL, Power BI, Microsoft SQL, and communication, which can either be storytelling or persuasive communication, ability to manage projects, I think you are good to go. You are good to go. You are good to go. Thank you, Chigozie.
All right, thanks, Abba. Really,
We can't hear you. I think you're. Yeah.
okay, how about now? Can you hear me now?
Clearer now. Clearer now. Thank you.
Oh, great. So I said from all you said, right, I take it that these tools are not difficult to learn or to work with. I mean,
No, they are not.
Power BI, yeah.
Yeah, they are not.
That's
They
great.
are not.
Yeah, I mean, I like that.
They are not.
To Samson, I recall you mentioned for data science, you mentioned Python, right? I also want to, I need to confirm that Python is not difficult to learn. It's just a matter of
No,
interest.
no, not at all. Yeah, everything boils down to what you're interested in.
Thank you so much for that. And thanks, Abba, as well. All right. So at this point, I mean, I'm opening the floor. If anybody have any question to ask, but feel free. I mean, there's no stupid or silly questions here. I mean, we're all here to support each other. Just feel free to ask your questions. Then after which, I mean, I'll round up. Then we'll close from there. So the floor is open now. Anyone have any question? Either you want to type or you want to, I mean, ask. Please feel free to ask. While we're waiting for question, I have Taufik. I say honestly, this information key. Thanks you. Okay, yeah. Thanks, Taufik, for that feedback. And that's why we are here. I mean, we're trying to, we're trying to simplify or demystify what this data thing is all about, right? We're not here to brag about buzzwords, you know, or wear a T-shirt where they inscribe what's it called, data this, data that. We're not. I mean, the community we're forming here is a community that can help each and every one of you grow, become an expert and an authority, and be confident in yourself. So that if you are preparing your reports, whether you like it or not, like Abba said, Excel, we keep excelling, right? In this field of data, it's not going anywhere yet. You know, I'm here to see what will take Excel away. You come across Excel, right? And that will require your basic knowledge about Excel. How will it help? You know, and if you don't have that, if you don't have to open Excel or look through, understand what columns are, that becomes a problem, even when you get into database. So we're here to break all those things down. You know, over time, I mean, in this community, over time, I mean, everybody here will become an expert. I can assure you that. All right. Does anyone have any question for Samson and Abba?
Yeah, good evening. I want to ask a question.
Go ahead, please.
Okay, I just want to ask, is it advisable that you just if you're learning SQL now, is it advisable to learn from the scratch, like how to build a database, how to build from the scratch, or you just learn how to connect the database for your own usage that you can import it to your visualization page, either Tableau or Power BI, or it is advisable that you know the nitty-gritty of that MySQL for you to be able to excel more in the in data analysis space?
Abba, do you want to take that?
All right, thank you, Chigozie. Taufik, so are you going for data analyst or data science? I think that.
Presently, I'm a data analyst.
Oh, fantastic! So,
data analyst, but I know data science is more advanced than data analyst.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
all right, thank you.
Data science later.
All right, impressive. So basically, you don't have to worry about building the database, right? That's the work of the engineers and the software and the data engineers. Your primary goal, is to understand what is stored in that database. That's what we call data query language, which is the select from, how to use your data query languages and clauses to pull data, to extract data from that database in different formats such as Excel or CSV format, and export to your favorite visualization tool, right? You can also learn how to connect to the database to interact with your data sets or to the contents of the database. So you really don't have to stress yourself when worrying about the construction or who is building the database, who is not. Your goal is interacting, pulling data, understanding the data that is stored in that database and how you can spool to achieve your goal in data visualization and communication. Yeah. So I don't know if my question is able to help you.
Yes. Yeah, thanks, Abba. Let me add to what you.
Okay.
So there's this joy or happiness that comes when you try something that you thought were impossible. When you do it yourself and you're able to solve it, you have this joy and excitement, right? So for me, there's no harm in learning. I mean, if it's for your personal step or your personal system as a data analyst, for me, I would say go ahead, right? I mean, it doesn't take anything. I mean, from what you've said now, I mean, we might organize a webinar on how to, how to create a data schema or a structure or a database from a CSV file, right? Although they're not difficult, as long as you have your database set up, whether MySQL, PostgreSQL, or SQL Server, or Oracle, any which one, we'll make our time to organize this kind of webinar, so that if you want to import them into a database and play with SQL around, that's fine, There's no harm in learning or trying, as long as it's within your system. But for what Abba has said, if you work in an environment, the corporate environment where it's structured, right? Where it's structured, you see data engineers, they've already made the data available for you. That is their job, right? Data engineers, they will get data, whether structured or unstructured, from everywhere. They will gather everything and put in a structured format, put in a data warehouse for you, or in a data mart for you to work with, so you can now do what you want to do, right? But I'm saying, personally, if you want to do yourself, I mean, it's something you can do yourself, And again, the way Nigeria is, and as well as some other countries, and some other countries, the way they are structured, when they use the word data scientist, right, or data analyst, some organization will expect you to be the data engineer, be the data analyst, be the data scientist. Do you understand? That's how some companies are. I mean, a lot of people have reached out to me to say, can I help them speak to their manager, so that they understand that their skill is all about data analysis, not to be doing all this data engineering work, because they are different, You get, so what I'm simply saying that there's no harm in trying. You can try it on your own personal system and just add to your CV, add to your knowledge. However, of course, I mean, data engineers are there to make them available. I hope that clarifies your question.
Yes. Thank you very much. I know how the Nigerian industry can always be. They always want you to do everything for them, and it's just a plus when you have the knowledge. Thank you very much. I really appreciate.
Welcome. Yeah, welcome. Any other question? While we're waiting for that, I have Kwazim saying that I really appreciate the information disseminated so far. Oh, thanks, Kwazim. Thanks for that feedback. And that's why we're here. Any other question? Right. If there are no questions for now, right, I just have a couple of things to say. First, let me thank Abba StMark and Samson Tontoye for their time. I mean, guys, I really appreciate your contribution. It has really added value. I mean, you can tell from how you reflect in the questions being asked and the chats being dropped in the Teams group. I really appreciate you guys for that. Thank you so much. Having said that, so to everyone here,
Thank you.
this community was created for a purpose. We're on a mission to simplify and demystify data and also help people, get into that career space that they are looking for. Right. This is why I tell people that have nothing to do with me, directly or indirectly. Right. We are not born with all these skills. So do not allow anybody's profile, whether on LinkedIn, not even my profile, to intimidate you. No. Always bear in mind that we were not born with these skills. We all learned it, either through personal research and development or through the opportunity given to us in the place where we work, So just know that if you apply your mind towards becoming a data analyst, a data scientist, or a data engineer, that you can actually actualize it. How? By practicing. Seek for knowledge, reach out, don't be shy. I mean, me that is talking like this, I reach out to so many people for help. And that's one mistake a lot of people make, because some people want to make the effort, you struggle, you suffer together. Gone are those days, right? Right now, collaboration is what will position you anywhere, right? So if you are thinking of becoming any of the three data, whatever that I've mentioned, right, you're in the right community. You can also reach out to your friends. They should join. From time to time, we'll be organizing webinars on selected topics. Also drop it in the Telegram chat group so that people are aware. People get to know when the training is going to take place. The purpose is to help build the newbies, those that are just starting from scratch. And for those that have questions, feel free to drop it there. Drop it in the chat group. We can take it up, try and see how to solve the problem. Just so you know, the world of data is really, really, it's said to be explored in Nigeria beyond the basics, But you can take it far. Bearing in mind that, tomorrow or one day you can find yourself out of the country with the right skill, for those of members that have left the country, the feedback I get is like, oh, thanks for stressing me, thanks for putting me through all this stress. Because here, when they find out that I can even do SQL database, even though they employ me as a developer, they see me as a king. Do you understand? So that was why I also told Tafik that there's no harm in gathering those knowledge. It's for your own personal growth and your CV. So at this point, I'll call it a day. Thanks, everyone. And happy to meet you guys again. Good evening and bye.
Thank you, Chigo. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Thank you, Chigo. Thank you, Samson. Thank you, everyone. It's a great time to be here.
So I'll be ending the chat now. Bye.